champs, you don't need to do sales calls in 2025 to grow an online education business. 9 months ago, I made what felt like a giant leap of faith. I decided to completely stop taking sales calls for my consulting business. And look, the results kind of blew me away. And over the past 5 months, I've now made $329,000, which means I've made more money in the past 5 months than I had done in the previous 5 years combined. I mean, last week alone, I brought in over $100,000, which honestly is kind of wild to say, considering I was absolutely dead broke only 18 months ago. And you want to know the crazy thing? I did it all on my own. No sales team, no appointment setters, no sales closers, no sales calls. It was just me and my Instagram editor, Jean. Which means I operate my business now at a ludicrous profit margin that floats between 86 and 93%. A simple business designed for simplicity, freedom, profit, and fun. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I did it, so you can start building a new lifestyle boutique business too. Now, there is a simple formula for this model, but if you're looking for a get-rich-quick scheme, you can just piss off. Because although this is simple, it takes time to build. But once it's built, you will have a fun, evergreen, and extreme impact business that makes you feel like you're living life on cheat mode. Look, if you're anything like me, there's just a few simple things you're looking for. You don't want to spend all your time managing big teams, complex systems that end up nuking your profit margins. Instead, you want to grow your business in a way that feels effortless and easy. You don't want to work with clients that suck the living hell out of you. Instead, you want to work with only the top 1% in your market, pre-sold leads who send you two simple messages. The first saying, "I'm in." The second saying, "Send me the payment link." You don't want to be another average player in your market, a middle of the pack journeyman, just getting by. You want to be the leader in your market, the one everyone wants to work with like a badge of honor, because you've built a brand and business that is authentically and unapologetically you. But most importantly, you want to wake up stoked as fuck every single morning because your diary is empty. And all you have to do is just a few hours of focused work in the morning, work that feels like play, and then the rest of the day is yours to do whatever you want. Okay, so here's the deal. If you want to do this, you're going to have to play by new rules. Let's go through those new rules together. Okay, so these are the new rules of the lifestyle boutique model. Now, this is the issue. Right now in Western countries, 20K is the new 10K per month. This is just the reality in countries that are in the West. And it sucks because things have changed. In 1970, average house prices were like $15,000. Guess what? In 2023, they're at $500,000. Rent used to be $108. Now is $2,000. University, $500. Now, $11,000. Gas, 36 cents. $3.86. Income, $9,000 on average in 1970. Now in 2023 or 2 years ago, the average was $56,000. Look, this doesn't make any sense because house prices have 29x. Income has only 6x. So the new rules, we have to play by them. Otherwise, we're going to get left behind. So the AI revolution is nuking the middle class. This is kind of brutal to really think about, but I believe there's going to be a wealth gap formed. And you are either going to have access to opportunities or you're just not. The good thing is, here is the biggest opportunity of our generation. We're still in the first season of the creator economy. Now, the first season is coming to a close very soon. That's kind of what I believe, and I think AI is going to shut the door on a lot of opportunity. But the creator economy is still forecast to approach $500 billion by 2027. Guys like Gary Vaynerchuk have been talking about this for years. Attention is the number one asset. That's his famous catchphrase that he starts at the start of every single video he posts. Guys like Dan Koh, who just on their own can make 4.2 million a year. Ali Abdaal, I think, is around like 3 to 5 million a year. Iman Gadzhi has managed to make $100 million from his personal brand in like the past 7 years. That is insane. I mean, Dakota Robertson, who I met last year, we went for some Guinness, took him out for some Guinness. He makes $250,000 a month with his ghost writing business. And this is where the opportunity is. The thing is, though, I used to work for the biggest brands in the world. I used to be a funnel analytics consultant. I used to help the biggest businesses, a lot of businesses within the lifestyle kind of luxury realm, brands like Selfridges, Chanel, Harrods, retailers like that, Superdry. I used to work across all different parts of the market, and it got me thinking, how are these guys able to make insane amounts of money compared to those big brands who have hundreds, if not thousands of members of staff? It got me thinking, what are these guys doing differently? Okay, so here's what's going on right now. Consumer trust has dropped 20% in just the past 7 years. You can see this here. It's kind of like being average and then bam, it is plummeting right now. Now, if you want to survive and thrive in the next era of online business, there are new rules that you have to play by. So here is the new model. Online business has entered a new era. Ad costs have soared since they got introduced, in the early 2010s. Trust has plummeted. Consumers are more aware than ever, and they are bored of the same bullshit. Call funnels, webinar funnels, book funnels, upsells, cross-sells, all of that stuff, people are just sick of it. And what I realized is these guys are using different types of models. They are using flywheels instead of what previously has been getting done using funnels. So here's why funnels differ from flywheels. These leads are dead, and so you have to put loads and loads and loads and loads of fresh ones in at the top of the funnel. That's why this model, the funnel model, is based on loads of cold traffic advertising. And when cold ads and ad costs are soaring, that makes this really challenging to do. This is based on sales-based conversion. Now, flywheels are different. They store energy and they compound over time. They rely on lead efficiency and a smaller audience. It is about being more efficient with the leads that you already have, the audience that you already have, rather than just getting loads and loads and loads of new ones in at the top. And look, even Aman Gadji has started talking about this as well. No cold ads, no complex funnels, no bloated sales teams. Copy my content flywheel system that has made me 100 million. Now, I designed this model based on studying him about 18 months ago. And so it's kind of funny that he's talking about this stuff now, and it just goes to show it works. But yeah, you're probably thinking, okay, that's cool in theory, but Aman's got a huge audience, which is true. And maybe you're thinking that'll never work for me. And I'm here to tell you that that isn't the case. For example, these are my clients in scale 20. So Ollie, he made $102,000 in just 8 weeks, and that was just like a month ago. Austin, he did a $67,000 launch for his consulting business. He ended up getting, I think, 14th in Alex Hormozzi's private cohort last year as well. We've got Richard, who made $92,000 in December. Ben, I helped get from 5 to 30K in his Amazon FBA coaching business. Felipe, he managed to launch a 10K offer after just quitting his full-time job. Now he's a full-time consultant helping people grow their podcasts. We've got Dan, who had a 20K record month with an audience of less than 1,000. We've got Stephen, who managed to go from 0 to 40K in just 9 months with his coaching business with an audience of less than 3,000. We had Ben go from 8 to 40K months in 6 months. Again, he had a small audience of less than 10,000. We've got Hugo, who made 30K in 1 month just last month. We have Nick, made 30K in 1 month just last month. And we've got Bernard, who I think actually has managed to get past 60K now in his coaching business. So the good news is that there is a formula to do this. And it's the formula that these folk all use. And it's the exact same formula that allowed me to make over 100K last week alone. With no sales team, with no sales calls, and most importantly, zero fucking stress. Okay, first we just have to decide to play a different game. And this is the difference between what I call a business builder and a lifestyle entrepreneur, which is what I do now. So in business builders, they're all about business first. In our business, we're about lifestyle first. Business builders are always about revenue. We're about profit. Business builders are all about sales-based conversion. We're all about marketing-based conversion. Business builders are about complex offers. We're about one core offer. Business builders are always really just trying to get as many clients in as possible. We cap our access. Business builders are always kind of looking at lead volume. We're about being more efficient with the leads that we already have. Business builders, they love a packed calendar. They love Zoom calls. And lifestyle entrepreneurs, we just have an open calendar. Business builders are kind of push selling. It's like this feeling of like, hey, we've got this thing, go for it. Lifestyle entrepreneurs, we're all about magnetic marketing. We're just saying, hey, we're over here doing this. We live in a world with no headaches. Do you want to join us? Business builders are always hunting. We're always fed. Business builders are always stuck. Lifestyle entrepreneurs are free. Okay, so you need some clear outcomes and milestones for your clients. For us, what do? We just have a simple, we're going to help you get to your next 20K or 20K monthly income goal. And what we've done is we just gamify the experience. And this is what I would recommend you do with your clients. So we have levels for people to aim at. And what this does is this makes it fun. And people get results if it's fun. Next up, you need your signature system. And this is going to be the core client offer that you are going to take to the market. And we base this around the 4 Ps. You have one person that you solve one problem for with one plan to get to one promise. For example, mine is I help ambitious high-ticket creators scale to their next 20K monthly goal with one simple flywheel so they never have to rely on cold outreach ever again. Okay, so what we do is we take all of our knowledge, we package it into a signature system that helps our perfect future clients get rid of all their headaches and enter a realm of their desired reality. That's all I've done, and that's all you have to do too. Okay, next up, we have the buying timeline. And now this is the big idea that I want you to get in your heads, okay? So the big idea is that out of 100 leads, half of them ain't ever gonna buy from you, okay? So they ain't ever gonna buy from you. The other half, you don't know when they're gonna buy from you. It could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be in 2 years' time. So what we wanna do is we just wanna be there when it's now. When the time is right, we wanna be there. So what we do is we just make asks to our audience to put up their hand to tell us when the time is now. Now, for example, Richard here, his time was like after a couple of days. He spent a couple of days, binged my content, and was like, let's go. And he, like a month later, managed to get 78K cash collected with a 93.5K month. A month after started working with me, a 6X in his initial investment. Now, we then had Patricia, who I first spoke to probably about 9 months ago. It took her about 6 months before she ended up deciding to work with me. And she just made her first 10K month last week, which is awesome. Then we have a couple of guys who I met 2 years ago, or just under 2 years ago. So Ross and Toby, they joined at the same time last week after 2 years of knowing about me. And finally, their time was now. Okay, so here's one of the fundamental differences when we are sending people to become clients from people who they don't know who we are. So this is the difference between what I call sales-based conversion and marketing-based conversion. So traditional funnels require your audience to make giant trust leaps to become a high-ticket client. So what we do is we break down those trust gaps in marketing-based conversion with flywheels, and we make them have to make smaller, much smaller jumps in trust. So instead of going from a stranger to a lead and a lead to a high ticket client, what we do is we break that up. We take someone from a stranger into a follower. We then turn them into a lead. We then turn them into a customer with a trust transaction. So they actually pay us money. And that's when we offer to help them and for them to become a high ticket client. And then ultimately what we do is we turn them into a case study. What we have in our world is a very simple flywheel to get people from not knowing who we are into becoming case studies, which are in fact the most valuable part of our flywheel. So what we do is we help people understand who we are and what we do by putting out a big idea into the market. So for me, my big idea is that you don't need to have sales calls to grow and scale an online education business. I will put out lead magnets talking about that idea. We then get people to become customers by doing what I call behind the curtains offers. And in our world, what we do is we just give people access to our private workshops that we have with our clients, and we give away tickets. And so a couple of examples, we ran one in November, one in October. I typically do this once a month. And in November, we made $3,600 just in tickets to the public. And in October, we made $2,800 in extra cash selling seats to things what we were already going to do for our clients, which is the crazy thing. And what this does is that this gives people a peek behind the curtains. That's why it's called BTC, behind the curtains offer. And what we then do is we just simply make an offer to these people, and we ask them if they want to become full-time clients. They've seen behind the curtains, they see what they're going to get, and a proportion of them will then ascend to becoming paying clients. The beauty of this model is that it is so simple. What we do is we get new eyeballs on the stuff that we're doing through short form content. And my preferences are either Instagram or LinkedIn. I don't choose both. I only choose one. And this is the recommendation I have. If you have a B2C offer, or you just prefer making videos or consuming videos, go with Instagram. If you prefer writing or you have a B2B offer, then go with LinkedIn. That's the simple suggestion that I have, and it works really well for people just going all in on one short form platform. What we then do is we have a lead magnet. And for me, my main lead magnet is my Skool community, where I've got a bunch of free resources. That's why I host all of my free resources. And the key is getting them into my community. And my community isn't my Skool community. That is just a group. My community is my email list. That's how we define my community in our model. And what we do is we want to get people over to long form content. We'll talk about that in a second. This is really just a preference. You choose which you prefer to post as your main channel. For me, it's YouTube, and that's because I consume more YouTube videos and more YouTube content than podcasts. For some of you, you may be more of a podcaster first type of person, then go with that. But what you're going to do is you're just going to repost the same content on your YouTube channel that you've done on your podcast, or vice versa, okay? It's just a different distribution channel, a free distribution channel for the same content, and you give people the opportunity to choose what is their preference on listening to you and deepening the relationship with you. Okay, now, so here's the fun part, because you guys probably think it's magic that I'm managing to close people in the DMs or without sales calls. And the truth is because I've done this part really well. This part, which is converting them into becoming a client, is really simple. I just have an offer that is put in a very simple document that I send to people and say, here, this is what I do, how I help people. Here are the instructions if you want to join. It's really that simple. And I host my private community in Slack. My recommendation is if you have a B2C offer, go with WhatsApp. If you have a B2B offer, go with Slack. That's my recommendation generally, and I think that works really well. Okay, next up is how are we actually going to deliver the services that we've promised to our audience? Okay, the key here is that you need to create constraints around how you want to spend your time. If you do not have constraints about how you want to spend your days, other people will determine how you spend your days instead. So this is where you get to actually have fun, right? You get to say, you know what, I'm not going to do this because I don't want to. And the great thing is you don't have to. I'm going to show you exactly how I do that in a second. But what you want to do when it comes to your service delivery is you want to have the same promise, but just different levels of access. And so what I call this the access stack. And you just want to give people the choice of how much access they want. It's really that simple. So the way I have it is that I have free resources and behind the curtains offers, all located in the same Skool group. So all of my paid, my core client offer resources, and my free resources, and my behind the curtains offers are all within a single Skool group. So that's just it's a resource hub for everything that I have, which I don't see many people do. I don't know why they don't do it. I think it's dumb that they would have multiple Skool groups, to be honest, or Discord groups or whatever. One place, everything all in the same place. Then what I do is I sell my skills and my services at two different levels. I have asynchronous one-on-one and I have synchronous one-on-one. The difference is synchronous one-on-one, they get my one-on-one time, okay? So they book in calls with me. Asynchronous one-on-one, they don't book calls with me. I answer their questions and I help them grow their business asynchronously. They ask questions in our private community and they get their questions answered on calls that we have with the community every single week. So it's asynchronous one-on-one. Honestly, this is absolutely incredible. For most people, that's all they need. For some people who have specific needs, they will go for synchronous one-on-one. And I just limit it. I can only have the capacity to have about 3 to 5 synchronous one-on-one clients at a time. And so this is an incredibly scalable offer. Okay, so when it comes to actually delivering this is what my calendar looks like. In the morning, I have no calls. All I do is focused deep work on high leverage projects. And then I only have calls with my clients on Tuesday afternoons and Thursday afternoons. I then have my kind of masterclass weekly call with my client base on a Wednesday afternoon. And Wednesday afternoons and Friday afternoons are all clear. So I have a ton of time free to reinvest my energy into marketing, whether that's creating content, emails. Instead of being on calls, I'm doing content. I'm making content and I'm putting my energy into a much more leveraged way of selling me. Okay, once we've got our access stack built, what we then need to do is we need to build parasocial relationships with your audience. And we do this, and once we've done this, we will build a micro cult audience. What you want is people to feel like you are a character within their world, just like they are a character within your world, like Friends. So if you watch the TV show Friends, you probably felt like you knew all of them. So that's what we're going to do. And this is the secret to being able to sell without sales calls. You want to build authenticity, which is found at the middle of building a world with your content, talking about an identity and giving an aspirational identity for people to work towards, and then putting out there a unique mechanism that is different to what other people do. So for example, for me, the identity for me is being a lifestyle entrepreneur rather than a business builder. And my mechanism is flywheels over funnels. That's me. That's exactly this example of me. And my world is all of the information that I give away in my content that shows people deeply who I am. That's why occasionally I'll do kind of like some vlog content. I'll talk a little bit off the cuff around stuff and give people the opportunity to really feel like they know me. Now, there is a blueprint to this, and it's a 3-part blueprint. You want to get people to know about your world, how your world is set up, the sets, the characters, the places that you go to, the locations, and then you want to talk about your conviction. So this is really how you get people results with your unique mechanisms. Next up, we've got stories. So this is talking about your journey and your results, how you have gone through a journey. And then ultimately you will talk about your transformation, which is your proof, and giving people an opportunity to aim towards a specific aspirational identity. Once you've got those 3 key components, you are going to create a micro cult audience. And look, this shit really works because my client, Steven, he managed to go from 0 to 40K in a month in just 9 months with an audience of less than 3,000 total because he has a micro cult audience. And look, if you know who this guy is, then you know it clearly works because this guy followed me kind of recently. So if the ultimate cult leader is following me, I've clearly done the right thing. Now, the good news is that it's easier than ever. This is my client, Austin, who I'm about to spend a month with in Barcelona. He's popping up, his content is popping up on my home feed. This dude here, I have no idea who Christopher is, but he's clearly got a small audience. The YouTube algorithm is getting small audiences huge amounts of opportunity to get views, okay? So this is the best time there's ever been to start building a micro cult audience on YouTube. Now, once you've started, you need to not stop. And you need to not stop giving away so much value, so much free information that your audience feels like they owe you. And if you do that, and if you do what these guys have all done, you will have built a goodwill bank account. And that's based on the law of reciprocity, which is one of the laws of influence, the psychology of persuasion by Robert Cialdini. But it's the idea that if you give away so much to someone, they end up feeling like they owe you. So that is the game plan here. That's exactly what I did last year on Instagram and YouTube. And once you've built that, people will feel like they want to binge your content when they find you. That's when you know you've done it well, is when you get messages from people saying, hey, I just binged all your content. How do we do this? Okay, so there is a problem with modern day algorithms, and this is something that means that you have to play by rules which are changing right now. Now, the problem is the algorithms only show your content to a proportion of your audience. What I do is I use what I call scale tax as a way to reinvest 15 to 20% of the cash that I bring into the business. I put it back into paid advertising to get my stuff seen by my existing audience. Now, this is really key. I'm not amplifying it to just fresh cold traffic. I am pushing my stuff back out to the people that are in my audience and who already know my face, have seen my face before. And this is why, because typically half of your content is getting seen by your existing followers, half of it by non-followers. That means half of the people that follow you are not seeing your content. So what I do is I cheat the system, I use a cheat code, and I use my Flywheel, which is designed to amplify ads back to the people in my audience. And I used this guy's advice. So this guy I met a couple of weeks ago in Dubai at a mastermind. His name's Sabri Subi, and he says that the stuff that I've seen work best for our clients is taking their best organic posts and amplifying it with paid ads. This guy, he's on I think Australia Shark Tank, and he has an advertising agency which does crazy amounts of ad spend. I can't remember how much. It's huge volumes of ad spend, and that's what he's seen. So that's exactly what I do. I take my best performing organic content and I invest 15 to 20% of my cash back into warm retargeting ads so that the people in my audience see my face all the fucking time. And when you do this right, it means your return on ad spend is going to be insane. Look, these are my numbers from the last 5 months. I kind of just did this. I spent £4,883, which is about $6,000 on ads. And so that's, I did the basic math, that's somewhere near a 60x ROAS. So this number was actually taken last year. And then the Flywheel really started to kick in and things have gone nuts since then. So if you do this right, you can really get paid ads to just crush beyond belief for you. Right, this is very, very important because people mess this up all the time. So recently there was the TikTok ban. A lot of people all of a sudden just had their businesses and their revenue streams wiped out. That's because they are building their businesses on rented land. There is a way to not do that. And that is by building your email list, which is the only asset that you truly own in your business. This should be a huge focus and it needs to be the engine of your lifestyle boutique business. Now, I've actually worked as a growth consultant for one of the biggest email newsletter agencies in the world. So I worked for Paperboy Studios, which is the sister agency of Kit, email provider solution that I send all of my emails from. So I've seen under the hood of the biggest creators in the world. I've helped them literally grow their email lists. They put so much money into growing their email lists through affiliate marketing, through advertising. It is the core engine of their businesses. So this has to be such a focus for you. And the cool thing is my Flywheel builds it for me. I have a sick cheat code for this, which means that I've been building it around an average 100 new leads, email signups per day. Okay, my cheat code is a ManyChat cheat code. So I've 10x'd my email list in just the past 9 months through a simple ManyChat automation, which collects emails. And here's the cool thing. It pushes everyone over to my YouTube channel at the same time in just one click. No opt-ins, no friction, just simple email over onto my email list through a ManyChat automation, which is based around comment triggers for my videos on Instagram. And this also acts as the turbocharger for my growth on Instagram because it shows the Instagram algorithm that my content has high engagement and it means it gets shown to more people. So this is the ultimate cheat code. This is kind of sick because I just give this to my clients. They just get to duplicate it and put it straight into their business. But this has been the engine that has driven my entire business over the past 9 months. This is the absolute cheat code. Now, here's how I actually do the no sales call conversion. I use urgency, scarcity, and time-sensitive offers to get people off the fence and to take action. I open the doors only 1 week of the month. That's currently what I do at the moment. And in the interim, I build a wait list in between. Now, what I do is I cap spots so that maintains the integrity of my client base and the quality as well. It's really important for me to maintain a certain quality. And what I do is I use periodic price rises to increase urgency and get people, again, off the fence. So instead of having sales calls, what I do is I send emails and DMs and I send people my offer in a simple document. Yeah, it is that simple. So that's how I close 100K in new business in just a week on my own. But most importantly, I feel like I have a business that feels effortless and fun. If you'd also like to become a lifestyle entrepreneur and you're already working with clients, getting them sick results, click the link below and DM me 77 on Instagram. I'll send you all the details about how you can get me as your business partner for the next year to help you implement all of the systems that I've just shown you. I've also got a free 6-part mini course going into way deeper detail in my Skool community. The link's down in the description too. That was sick. I'll see you in the next one.